Oh my. Oh my.
You are now tuned in to the Revolution Radio Show. Yo, what it is and what it do, you're officially tuned in to the Revolution Radio Show on 102.3 FM KCAA in the Inland Empire, worldwide on the NBC Radio Network and on the iHeart Radio. As always, I am your man, J Love, a.k.a. Uncle Jiggy. I'm joined every day by the statesman himself, Mr. Farron. How you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. How's everybody doing today?
You like real mellow today. You just,
Yeah.
I got good right now.
I got to be grandpa tonight, so I'm trying to be my chill.
Okay. And then we also have our newest member of the team, Intern Lilian.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
What's going on? It is Friday, the 30th of July in the year of our Lord 2021. And we got a special guest today. He is an entrepreneur. He is a business mogul. He's a music mogul. Like the dude, his accolades, if I were to begin, it would take the whole show to go over all his accolades, because he's like, they call him the young Barry Gordy. You know what I'm saying? The Puff before Diddy. You know what I'm saying? He all that. You know what I mean? So please show some love. He is the CEO of UGM Digital. Give it up for my man, Andre Mullen, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey. Hello, welcome.
What's popping?
How you doing today, sir?
I'm good. Good, man. It's Friday. The end of a week. It's been busy, but glad to be chilling with y'all and chopping it up. A good one. It's a good one. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
No, definitely. And since you from New York, I want to send a real quick shout out to New York. And this one is personal. I'm interrupting everybody to make this announcement. I grew up. I am a hip hop fanatic. For me, Biz Markie is one of the greatest to ever do it. And I just wanted to make mention that on Monday, they're going to be doing the life celebrations, not the funeral, but the life celebration of Biz Markie. Apparently, Al Sharpton will be delivering the eulogy. Folks such as Fat Joe, LL Cool J, Papoose, Big Daddy Kane, Albie Shore, and Leela Robinson will also be there to pay some respects to the pioneer. Biz was a genius, man. I just have to say that. Like, I know he was a clown. Like, that was it was a caricature. You have to understand, the dude was literally a genius. He played that role because he knew that was the role he needed to play for y'all to, you know what I mean? Because y'all couldn't get with how dope he really was. Right. But shout out to the dude, Biz Markie, to everybody from the Juice Crew, to his family, love and condolences. Thank you for sharing Biz with us. And I know it forever and ever till the end of time. There's no doubt that generations will always know you. Nobody. You got what I need.
Everybody know the papers. Everybody know the papers.
Yeah. Nobody beats the Biz. Nobody beats the Biz. So I didn't want to do that because, like I said, I'm such a huge fan, and I just, I believe in giving the flowers when you're here, right. But also at the same time, showing honor when someone is gone as well. Right. And so, I wish I could be there, but, shout out to everybody because I feel like for me, I don't know about y'all, and then we'll go on, but like, I grew up with Biz. Like, he was so much a part of my life that I feel is like an old friend passed away. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it feels like. Like, man, my dude from, back on the block, that's what it feels like with Biz. So, it's definitely a different situation. So again, shout out there. But Lilian, I know we got some stuff in the news. What are we talking about today? You said something about some dogs.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Because I am such an animal lover, and I want to warn all of the lovers out there for their dogs. Several dog food products recalled after harmful substance has been found inside of them, and that substance could be contaminated with mold, so all the food, and it is causing great symptoms. And so the products from brands Triumph, Evolve, Wild Harvest, Nurture Farms, Heart to Tail, Pure Being, and Elm Pet Foods. All of those brands right now are being recalled, so please look out in your household to see if you hold any of these products, just to be cautious. Either take it back to the store, get your refund, or throw them away. And you should, if your dog has eaten these types of brands of food, then you want to look out for symptoms of not wanting to eat, sluggishness, vomiting, yellow tints in their eyes and gums, and diarrhea, and just take them to the vet right away. So
wow.
Take care of your pets, everybody. Look out for these products.
I personally don't have any dogs. Are those popular brands of food for dogs? I don't know.
I think the first two I heard were I've heard about.
Yeah.
The first two.
From what I was looking at them, they looked like pretty popular, and they're advertising for more healthy option dog food. So it's kind of
healthy dog food.
Nah, those are like the McDonald's. Those are like the fast foods of dog food.
Okay, y'all realize it's dogs, right? Like y'all realize.
Hey, listen.
No.
Hey.
You realize dogs will eat vomit.
Hurt a lot of
They'll
feelings.
eat their own vomit, right? You understand this?
Listen. Dogs are not people, but dogs still need to eat. We're not saying they need to eat filet mignon. I'm just saying they need to eat though.
Right. When I was growing up, the dogs ate bologna, the weenies, stuff that fell off the table.
And that's why they didn't live long, bro. They didn't live long eating that.
Well, I'm just trying to keep your dogs healthy for everyone listening, and
take care.
Watch out for those brands. So while we're on the subject of dogs, I wanted to also mention this news report of in Hawaii, robot dogs are joining the police force. And so that was a big surprise. But it's not only Hawaii, because other states in the United States are also taking it, just like New York. And they're called Spot. That's their name. The dog's name.
Spot. Spot them, Spot. Where they at, Spot?
So there is a handful of police officials that are experimenting with them, and they're just these four-legged machines that are seen as drones, but I mean they walk and run, do all that.
I need to see. I need to see what these things look like, because in my head they like have like 9-inch metal teeth. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, I seen a photo. It doesn't have like a mouth. It's just like a body and like legs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm saying weird. It's just a body and like there's like a head, but no mouth.
But they're supposed to keep the first responders safe. And it was also reported in Honolulu that if you were homeless and looking for shelter, that expect a visit from these dogs, as they will come to you and they would like scan your eye and make sure you don't have any fever and all that. So they are really like evolving. Like they're getting
they like the pigeons.
That just became a little bit more sinister if they're scanning your eyes. Like that's a little bit.
That's why they don't need no mouth. They scanning. Oh heck!
Wow. Okay.
Tell me this. Tell me this.
Yeah.
How can Hawaii have so much drama on an island, bro?
A beautiful island.
How do you have so much drama on the island, bro? You can't get away. Where you gonna hide?
Yo, you been to Hawaii? You been to Hawaii?
No.
Yo, Hawaii is
I watched Hawaii 5-0 though.
Yo, no, legit. Hawaii is amazing, man. Hawaii is like legit paradise. And
they're also overcrowded with visitors, so they're trying to get people to stop coming. You know, tourists are just overrating all of the islands. So just another little thing.
But the crime, you can't have that much crime on the island. You can't. Where you gonna run? We gonna rob the bank and go where? Into the jungle?
Maybe it's the tourists that are causing the crime. Who knows? They're like, I don't live here. Maybe I can do something.
But you can't Bobby Brown and get away.
You stupid. You stupid. So listen, y'all. This is the Revolution Red Show. We got a guest on the show today. I told y'all a little bit earlier. He is from New York City. He's from New York. New York City. He's from New York. He is been in the music business for quite some time. He has a company called UGM Digital. His name is Andre Mullen. So can you, for those of us who are lay people, can you explain to us what it is that your company does? You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna be like this. If they ask me, I'm gonna be like, it's digital, okay? They do the digital.
Yo, man. So UGM Digital is where we unlock good music for DJs and producers. We provide high quality audio files for DJs and producers. In layman's terms, we are a digital DJ record pool. So we've taken it all the way back to when DJs used to go to record stores and literally look for 12-inch vinyl to see the next party. We are the digital version of that. And as we tell people, we unlock good music, but we're more than a record pool. So there's a lot more to us than just, hey, I'm just about to get the hottest and the dopest record from one of my favorite artists. We just got a lot more going on. It's a lot. I'm excited.
Wow, congrats on that.
Well, so if I understand this correctly, say I'm acting stupid. If I understand this correctly, it actually services two different communities, right? Because on one end, the DJs and programmers and playlist curators, right? They can get actually the dope records from you. But on the other hand, watch this, because there's artists that listen. Hold on, let me make sure this is on. If you're an artist, it's a place you can take your music,
yes, sir,
and put it in the hands of people specifically who have platforms that you want to get your music because they got platforms. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yo,
sir.
that's amazing.
Yeah. See, and if anyone actually looks into what is happening in this space, if they look at the most notable digital DJ record pools, DJ City, BPM Supreme, even there's some other ones that are on the come up too with us, like Innovator. They're not necessarily competition because we're more than a record pool, so they're not competition, but they are out there. Some of these, and there's countless others, some of them really, they charge artists to give them access to their network of DJs. We don't charge artists.
Hold on. Stop the presses. You don't charge artists?
Nope. We don't charge artists to submit to
wow.
You know what that deserves?
Facts.
Wow, that's amazing.
I think what happened was, and kind of to give context and give a little bit of history.
Real quick, Andre, can you pull your mic in a little bit, sir? I want to make sure they hear you clearly.
Okay, cool. To give context and give some history about UGM Digital. The parent company is the Inaccess Group, and that's a company where we converge media, music, and tech. And we acquired UGM Digital at the top of 2020. And when we first got the brand, it was just a DJ record pool. That's all it was. I think they had, and when we first got it, it had about 500 songs in its catalog, and we were dealing with maybe 4 different genres. And as of today, actually, we have well over 2,000 songs in the catalog, 12 different genres of music that include Latin, Caribbean, Moombahton. Most people don't even know about that genre. That genre is amazing. And different playlists and different mood playlists. So what I found was that a lot of the other DJ pools, they charge artists to be part of it. And I knew for me that business model was kind of backwards because DJs are looking for new music. And if I had an artist that a DJ was looking for, but I had to tell that artist, hey, look, I got DJs looking for your music, pay me X amount of dollars. The artist is gonna be like, nah, I'm good. I'm not gonna pay you. So now it's a loss across the board. We lose getting good music. The artist loses exposure on our platform, and the DJ loses the ability to really break a record. So I was like, nah, let's work this where artists do not have to pay us to submit music. We have a very strict kind of onboarding system. I mean, listen, if it ain't hot, it's not. That's it. If it ain't hot, it's not, and it's not getting in. But we've evolved. We've evolved more now into more of a curator than just a mere DJ pool. Like, most of the, I mean, Jay, you can attest to this. Most of the records that are out now are not, most of the hit records are not 100 BPMs. You know what I'm saying? Right. They're 80, 85 BPMs. And so, we're not looking for, we want to turn up music. That's all our pool. No, we are a curator. And we welcome any artist, to shoot your shot, submit your music. If it's not hot, it ain't hot. We're not putting it in. So that's really where it is right now.
Hey man, so I'm gonna ask you two questions real quick. How long have you been in the music industry, and how did you get into the music industry?
All right, I'm not lying when I say this. I have been in the music industry 32 years. And
good Lord, good black don't crack.
Yeah, yeah, man. 32 years. I first started in a boy band.
Wait, you can't fast forward past that.
Right.
It seems like you're just trying to cover it up real quick. You're like, let's throw it out there.
I first started in a boy band. It was 5 of us.
What was the name? Because I'm about to go on Google.
You're not
gonna find it, so
I hit all the videos.
The name of the group was called Image. It was 5 of us. We were on the come up around the time of, and this shows my age, is around the time of the New Jack Swing era. So New Edition had just dropped Any Heartbreak. Bobby Brown had just dropped Don't Be Cruel. Guy had dropped their debut album.
These is all my records, man.
These is all my records.
People, they sound so foreign, but I'm saying like this was when we started, and I got really introduced to just kind of singing in junior high school, and after a friend of mine had given me a New Edition tape and said, hey, you should sing this song in the talent show. And I was like, all right, cool. And then that kind of ballooned into bumping into this guy around my way and was like, hey, I'm starting a group. I heard you sing. What's up? And I was like, yo, I'm down. And fast forward, the group kind of disbanded. My mom was, she was a teacher. So, and I was talking to her about like, yeah, I wanna be a singer. So I was like, you better shut up and sing.
Mom was not having it.
You better be humming along as you read and not doing
with some books. You better sing some books.
Yeah. So
sing them ABCs.
What ended up happening is the group disbanded, but me and the main producer, we stayed, kind of just working together, writing songs and this and the third, which then led us to go to an open audition at Sir Studios here in New York. And at the time, the way that the industry was structured, there were production companies. So artists would get signed to production companies,
right?
And had these agreements with bigger labels. And a lot of my friends, like in this era, everybody didn't have access to a studio. Like there were no bedroom producers. Nobody was making beats in a bedroom on a MacBook sitting on their bed. That wasn't happening. Like when my friends was telling me that they were going to the studio, it was like, oh snap! Like 9 times out of 10, they were getting signed. They were like, any your friends like, yo, bro, yeah, I'm going to the studio. You are? Oh, this dude next week. And it would happen. So we got picked up by a production company, and the production company was a feeder to Columbia Records, and they liked us. There was nothing like a 2-man group out there, especially for our age. And we got into a bidding war with Columbia, Sony, and Polygram. And Sony was gonna pick us up, and I don't care. I can tell our numbers because it was way back then. They were gonna sign us to a $2.5 million deal with $250,000 upfront money. Now, yes, all of the ugly horror stories of all of the artists back then that were getting those deals are true. Now, knowing what I know, it sounded great, but I knew that the deal, I think we was responsible for 8 albums.
Your whole life.
Yeah, that's like $3 an album.
Yeah,
golly.
In there,
that's cool.
And there was a lot of big money, but you know what? It's funny because my partner was a church boy, and I remember I was so excited. I was like, man, I can't wait to tell my mom, yo, I'm about to get this deal, yo. Man, she was thinking it's not gonna happen, blah 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 blah. Man, I remember that I was coming home from the city, and I got a beep.
Hey, the pager.
For you young kids out there, for you childrens, there was a thing called a pager once upon a time.
Pager.
And I was like, oh snap! And this was the alphanumeric pager. So
I got you can read it. Yeah, you can read it. Ballin'. Ballin'. I had that one. Right? Ballin'.
So I'm like, oh snap! So I look at the pager, and the message says, "Turn down the deal. Come to my house, and I'll explain later."
Wow. That's the
old. You just bust that out of nowhere.
Yes.
So my heart literally sank to my feet, and the rage that I felt, I was like, man, when I go see my boy, yo, he better tell me he saw God to tell me that he turned this down.
Wow.
Yo, I went to see him that night, and he was like, I didn't even talk. He said, man, yo, listen, I tried to turn down a deal. He was like, because I asked him if we could do gospel music. I was like, bro, we don't do gospel music. We do R&B. What are you talking about? I just didn't want to go there, and how they want us, to lose ourselves. And I was like, bro, are you serious? What's happening? I was like, I didn't know. And he was like, yo, I just really believe God told me to turn it down. And at that time, I come from a very religious family. And I'm like, who gonna argue with God? Like, I told you that.
Maybe it's for the better,
I'm like, all right, okay. All right, now I left that alone. But I think what ended up happening is I literally shifted from being an artist. I had friends of mine that were in the industry. A lot of my friends at that time were interning at labels. That was the thing. And one of my friends was a music director. So while I was in college, I was getting session work. And so pretty much session work is artists that were signed to these production deals, they needed background singers, right? So I would go and I would do, a few hours of session work, get paid like $150, $200, you know what I'm saying? And that's where what I realized is I didn't want to be a singer.
Right.
I came across a friend of mine who was working at, this is a funny story. He was interning at Uptown. And he worked closely with Puff. Of course, as everyone knows him now, Diddy, Sean Combs. And he was interning in his department, and I was in his bag getting something, and I'm like seeing all these big like contract stuff. And I'm like, yo, I'm pulling them out like, bro, what are you doing with these? Like, you're gonna get fired. What are you doing with these? It's like, yo, man, I'll just be reading them. Yo,
wow.
Agreement, and I'm like, really? I'm like, let me see that. So, I would read through some of the contracts he had, and then it was funny because he said, yo, but I gotta tell you, man, yo, they just signed this girl. She's so dope. I'm like, ooh. He's just ranting and raving. She's so dope, man. She's so gutter, but yo, she could sing, bro. I'm
already guessing.
Dope. She's so dope. I'm like,
I say Mary J.
I'm like, really? He's like, yo, and he said, yo, I got the tape. I'm like, bro, you're gonna get fired. Listen to this tape. I'm telling you, she the truth. Yo, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's giving me a tape from Uptown. Oh my gosh. Went home, I listened to it. I heard, ooh, you remind me of I was like, this
Mary J.
Who's this?
The queen.
That's Mary J.
I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And I listened to the old tape, and as you guys know, as you hear, yeah, man, I had Mary J. Blige's "What's the 411" like almost a year before it dropped, and
wow, that's so
bananas. Like, yo, I can't wait till she dropped it. When she dropped, everything was just over. But what that acted as was a catalyst for me to want to learn the business.
Yeah, the behind the scenes.
I want to learn the business. I was like, yo, these dudes, so from there, I was going to all the industry parties. I would bump into Puff, I bumped into Faith Evans, bumped into Biggie, bumped into, had conversations with Christopher Williams and would see Albie Shore and would see like all of the how I feel now are kind of like the heroes of
absolutely
and
absolutely
music.
For sure.
And to be able to be in a place and see and see the first introduction of Salt and Pepper, see the first introduction of Queen Latifah, Moni Love, and these people were see the first introduction of Mobb Deep at a Diddy event.
Wow.
Bump into, hear people talk about, yo, this other dude from Queensbridge, you gotta look out for him, blah 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 blah. Nas, it's just, it was an era of music that when I hear some of the people that I know talk about it, it just was amazing. And then, as you start getting in that circle, because the circle was small, it really wasn't that big. You start getting in that circle, you're going to these parties, you're starting to talk to these people on the regular. So I would chat with Russell Simmons. I would chat with Leroy Cohen. I would chat, with Search, MC Search. I would chat with these dudes. And lo and behold, as I started kind of navigating the industry, I got, as it would happen, I got a PA internship, but it was a paid internship at the very production company that had got us the deal with Columbia.
Full circle.
So I'm like, all right, cool. But here's the thing, right? I'm a production assistant. There are 3 other guys. There's 4 of us. The 3 other guys, they produce. I don't produce. So I'm like, oh man, like what am I gonna do? Like, these guys are gonna fire me, like, cause I don't do anything, right? Like that. So I immediately called my boy, who was at that time now working as a production coordinator at Uptown, the same guy who showed me the contracts. And I'm like, listen, I gotta talk to you, man. I don't know what to do. Like, I want these dudes to fire me. This could be my end. And he was like, He was like, what do you mean? I was like, can you do me a favor? Can you talk to me about publishing? He was like, I don't know nothing about publishing. He was like, I'll give you some agreements, you know? And I was like, all right, cool. So when he gave me those agreements, what started happening was I was like, yo, I need to find out more about this publishing stuff. I need to know about this. I need to know about this. Yo, so pre-Google. Here I go. I hit up ASCAP. I'm hitting up BMI. You know, I'm hitting up CSAC, asking them about performance royalties and how they structure this stuff. I even took a bus ride down to Washington, D.C. to the Library of Congress. Go through their books and stuff on copyright. That's what I did.
Look, I don't mean to interrupt you real quick, but I got to real quick.
Uh-huh.
Listen, I know there's a lot of artists or people who want to get in the industry listening right now. Listen, do you see all of the steps that, and I'm going to say we, right? Because my generation, we used to do to want to just get in the game. Yeah. We actually read stuff. We actually, it's not like, I get it that now there's a lot of tools, which are amazing. There's a lot of tools that allow you to get to the masses quicker. But you can't bypass the process, right? There's still a process, and there's still so much knowledge that you need to acquire in order to have the ability to stay for the long run. You heard this man said he's been in the industry for 32 years. That ain't because of talent. Talent comes and goes. Like, talent's a dime or a dozen. That's due to a work ethic and more specifically, what are you saying? Building relationships, right? Building relationships and acquiring the knowledge, you know what I mean, on his own without something like going. Now you guys got Google, but I just had to say that because I just think a lot of times people don't realize, like, I'm just going to do a song and I'm going to throw it out there and I'm going to put it on a playlist, and they think that's the industry, and it's not.
Bro,
hey, Andre, you know, from what I heard you say from me, man, is that there are other ways to be in this industry without being in front of the microphone. And most people think that you got to have the mic. And there's no difference when we talk about being in sports or in other jobs, that you don't have to be the guy catching the pass. You don't have to be the guy, you know, shooting the jumper. There are so many other jobs connected to that field of basketball and football that make just as much money, that give you just as much fulfillment. And as you said, you went and learned the behind the scenes. And I hear you say you learned a piece that the other guys didn't have, so that you became way more valuable than they were actually out of those other three cats.
Yo, and you know what's funny, right? Check it. So I'm getting all this information, right? And here I am. I'm in the office, and what I was doing was I would see artists, and like they were signing so many artists, just signing them. And yo, I would literally throw up on new artists that would come through the door. No, let me tell you about publishing. And like, yeah, man, that's all well and good. I'm trying to get in this studio and work with this dude over here. But some of them are like, yo, okay, let's set something up. Let's talk. So what happened is I come into the office one day, and what happened is one of the there were partners that were running this company. He says, look, man, you come here now. You come to the office now.
Like,
in the office, he's like, the other guy's sitting in the desk. He's like, who told you to talk to these artists about publishing? Who told you? What do you know about that? And so I'm like, I'm looking at him like, oh my gosh. In the back of my mind, like,
I'm about to get fired anyway, right?
so you know, I'm like, yo, if I'm gonna get fired, I'm gonna go out swinging. I said, listen, I'm telling them about publishing. I'm like, just telling them, yo, this is why they need to know. Blah, 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 blah. And the partner goes, wait, hold up. We're not really mad at you. You're the only person that knows this way.
Classic.
That's beautiful.
This is what we're gonna do.
Classic.
We're going to make sure no artist that we sign sets foot in the studio without first having a sit down to talk to you.
Wow.
To get them set up.
Man, look at God.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, great. All right, let's do it.
You went from almost thinking you were going to be fired to now
Exactly.
a promotion.
And let me tell you, man, it was the most busiest 3 years of my life.
Mhm.
You know, I learned so much about publishing. Just and of course I a lot of it was me going to get the knowledge. And a lot of it was I had to connect with people um at various levels. You know what I'm saying? You know, and within that, I had great relationships with people at BMI, great relationships with people at ASCAP and CSAC. I tell people now, you can't really know publishing if you don't know copyright law. A lot of most people in the industry. This is a fact. Most people in the industry do not know about publishing. I promise you that is a fact.
Absolutely.
There are so many people that I have conversations with. When I start talking about publishing, they literally they knock out. Like it's because publishing is directly tied into copyright legislation, which is tied into political stuff, which is tied into legal ramifications.
Yep.
Most like man, listen, publishing is my first love, because I know that as I've taught seminars, I've taught at conferences. Publishing is a currency to the music industry. Don't get it twisted. It ain't about masters. Masters is it's that's record label. There's two industries. There's the recording industry and there's the publishing industry. Most people don't recognize that. They're two separate. If I go to a record label
absolutely.
right now, if I go to a record label right now and I talk about publishing, them dudes are like, what's
They're
that?
Like, oops, we didn't know that.
Yeah, what's that? Like, no, we just deal with this. And that's really where my personal career in music took off from there. That's really what got me more in tuned and involved in the music industry as a whole, because you start seeing how the other pieces work and how they fit. And then all of those things, I've done publishing, I've done marketing. I have an MBA in marketing. So I've done marketing, I've done independent A&R work. I've A&R'd on projects. I've one of the longest things, two of the longest things I've done in the music industry have been management and radio. And all of that has come full circle now that there's UGM Digital. So, and now we're just it's a fun thing, man. It's a fun thing now. Life is real fun.
I can relate to you because when I started blog talking back in 2010, before it got all popular, I was self-taught.
Right.
And then when I retired from the military, I used my military benefits to go to radio and TV broadcasting school. But my friends were like, why are you going there? You already been doing this. Like, you don't need, I'm like, I'm going to learn the behind the scenes, the technical part of this. And so they were looking at me like, you don't need that stuff. You don't need that stuff. But for the knowledge, very important for the knowledge.
And that's actually why I went for my MBA. It was funny because, my wife was like, why are you going to go learn what you already know? And I said, you know what it is? There is something to be said. Like, here's a simple way of putting it. You may know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but you may not know what the tools are to make it. You don't know the names. So what do? You Google it. You say, knife. Oh, bread. Oh, okay. I now know the proper names for how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So you know what I could do? I can tell Lilian how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich now. Instead of telling her, yo, you grab that thing over there and two other pieces and you like put them on. No, Lilian, you can grab a knife, you take 2 pieces of bread, you sit them down and you spread. So now what schooling did for me is it gave me the names and the terms of the very things that I was already doing.
Yeah.
I now, instead of just simply saying, oh, I have these goals, oh, I know that within my goals, I'm looking for key performance indicators. Oh, okay.
Boom, boom.
I know now. I know what initiatives I want to put in place. I know what type of return on investment I want. That's where it gets real. It gets real different, and that's why I went back to school.
No doubt.
Yeah, and Andre, I was wondering if I can ask you a question. So,
No,
if for
Lilian,
people,
no, you ain't asking no.
I didn't ask you. So, for people who don't want to, say, dedicate into schooling right now or don't have the funds to do that, what are some good resources that they can look out for or search to learn more about publishing?
Well, here's the beautiful thing about now. Like, there is enough of what I call the voices in the wind. The voices in the wind is Google, right? So there's enough of that for you to begin to start nurturing knowledge development. What becomes the difference is applying the knowledge. That's what we call wisdom. Wisdom is applying knowledge.
Yep.
So once you apply the knowledge, then that's where you begin to separate yourself from everyone else. That's where you separate yourselves from the parrots and you become an eagle. Because everybody knows, everybody can spit something back to you. Oh, well, publishing is like da 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 da. Oh, publishing is like da 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 da. They can do all that. Oh, I read on here. Yeah, but do you understand how important, how copyright law lines into that? Oh, do you understand how you can derive serious and significant publishing revenue from streaming? Oh, you don't know that. Oh, okay. You didn't read. Did you get that in the Oh, no, you didn't. Okay. So it is about that application. There are a lot of people I talk to, especially artists. My God, there's a lot of artists that try to talk to me about publishing. And I listen to hear where they are and where their mindset is on it. But a lot of times it's off. And I've always said that one of the things about the music industry that I've always kind of hated is it is the only industry that people will work for free for practically forever. They'll work for free. They will work for free. They
I would always say
about a bad.
Yeah, I would always say the music industry is the only industry in the world where you get paid later, maybe.
Yeah. You know what analogy I give people? I'm like, so the music industry, some artists approach the music industry like this. And I don't understand why they would. Imagine you go on a job interview and the HR person says, oh my gosh, yeah, Jay, we love you, man. Oh, we think you're so amazing for this position. This position is you. We want to hire you. We totally blown away by your personality, your ability, and all this stuff. But we just have a few things to let you know. So we don't know when we're going to pay you. We don't know how much we're going to pay you. But we just need you to work as long and as hard as you can. And then at some point, we'll figure out what we're going to pay you. That's the music industry. And that's what artists say, okay.
Yeah, we're excited. You're like, I'll do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Where do I sign? Where do I sign?
You're like, you sit there like, yo, like, really?
Where do I sign?
Like, really? And it never fails. And I think that is where my heart really goes out to, to artists in that regard, because ignorance is not bliss. Not in this industry. Not at all.
Especially the 90s was like that.
Yeah,
so
in the 90s
tough.
was crazy. The 90s,
that was cold in the 90s.
In the 90s, you had what you had was artists was hungry. I can't even begin to tell you how many stories. Listen to how crazy this is. You had artists that would literally sign, and it happens now. I'm sure I think it still happens now. But in the 90s, it was really rampant that they would sign deals with no representation.
Doug, let me tell you. Hold on. Okay. I got my first record deal when I was 18. Okay. My manager, okay, watch this, was also my attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, it gets better. Was also the attorney on retainer for the label that I signed to.
They work with it.
So when someone was trying to explain to me, yo, that's conflict of interest, I was like, yeah, it's in my interest not to have a conflict with the situation.
Man,
yeah.
And that stuff is rampant, man. And like, I mean, I got stories, bro, for artists that we all heard and know.
I was told to my face later that I was signed as a tax write-off, right? Because she had to explain to me when I did my whole record. I knew, okay, it was coming up for my release. I was like, yo, my record's not in the stores, right? So she says to me, and this is how stupid artists are. She said, Jay, you're shelved. I hung up the phone, right? Back in the day, Lilian, there was these things called record stores. Okay, let me explain to you. This thing called record stores.
Back in the day, there's still some.
They had shelves.
You thought you was on the shelf, huh?
With rows and rows of CD. And I said, I got shelved. So I went to Tower Records. And I looked through all the J's. I was looking through the J's and I said, okay, maybe it's in the L's. Because I was looking for J Love. And I didn't, then I went and called them. I didn't want to speak to the clerk. I said, I need to speak to your manager. So I asked the manager at Tower Records. I said, look, homie, I got shelved. I need you to find my record and put it out here right now. He went through the inventory. He said, excuse me. He said, hold on. Let me say, J Love. He said, no, sir. I'm saying, you're not on our. And I said, man, listen, if I got to come back here, I'm going to tell you right now, I got shelved. He looked at me like I was crazy. Hold on. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to be back. And when I come back, it's going to be some problems, right? So I drove to her house, right? Didn't even knock on the door. Open, just walked in. And I said, hey, we got a problem. Tower Records. I'm being serious. I said, Tower Records, you told me I got shelved. Tower Records didn't have it nowhere in their inventory. You need to call somebody because I can't be sending people to Tower Records. I told everybody, I made phone calls. I got shelved. You understand how excited I am? She looked at me and she said, James, are you serious? I said, yeah, I'm serious. You ain't gonna make no phone calls. You better call the label, tell them they shelved me and it ain't on the shelves. She said, look at me. And with a straight face, your record is never going to see the light of day. You got signed as a tax write-off. I said, a what? What's a tax write-off?
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow.
That was 18-year-old me.
See, that is it's funny. I am honestly, for many years, I have always been pro label. I've always been pro label. I have artists that will say to me, yo, oh, I got a bad deal. Oh, I got, and I'm like, or they'll ask me, is this a bad deal? And I'm like, well, I wouldn't say it's a bad deal. Because, every deal is negotiable. You know what I'm saying? If I give you a piece of paper and I say, hey, these are my conditions and this is what I'm going to do for you, and you don't agree with the conditions, then you say, hey, I don't necessarily agree with these conditions, But I will say that we can change this, and we could change this, we could change this, we could change this. It's very simple. It's very simple. Artists all the time will ask me. They'll send me a contract and say, "Yo, is this a bad deal?" And my first thing out my mouth is like, "Nope." Yo, but you don't see that they're saying this. You don't see. No, if you don't like that, take it out, redact it. Say, hey, this is what I'd like to see instead of this. That's all. It's a negotiation. So when the artists in the 90s were signing those deals, they never negotiated.
Do you want to know how I signed that deal? I sat down in her living room, and it was this thick. Okay, this lady, an attorney, put this in my lap, said, "Look this over." I did like this. I was looking for advances. I see a check there. There's a check. I literally went through this thing in 5 minutes. Okay, mind you, this thick legal jargon from top to bottom in 5. And I said, "Yeah, it looked good. It looked good." When I get a check, I'm getting a check, right? Y'all gonna cut me a check? Where's the check? No. If I sign it right now, I get the check.
The biz.
I probably said it on there too, like tax write-off, like making the
biz. I get it. I seen on the one page. Hold on, let me see what page that was. It said right here about I get an advance. Can I get the advance today? Is that today, or I gotta wait 3 business days? What I gotta do? What just right now? You want my children? You want my unborn children? Do I get a check today? I get a check to.
My thing is this, bro. Like, you gotta. The thing is, I've always said that, and the reason why I said before I'm pro label is because I really believe that artists. I really believe, and I don't want to say. And listen. I know this is a controversial statement.
There's no nice way to say it. Just say it. There's no nice way to say it.
You know what it is? It's a controversial statement because you have a lot of artists that that are making it now. They're making it now. They really are. And I'm not taking anything away from that. But there are a lot of artists that do need a label.
Yeah.
Now, they need the label that I am ideally thinking about, which is a label that is about artist development, a label that can balance, hey, we're about the bottom line, but we're also about making great artists. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so we can easily point out who those labels were. Those are labels run by Clive Davis. Those are labels, listen, as much as there's controversy that surrounds Diddy, I still think that he made some great artists. You know what I'm saying?
Diddy's the dopest.
Yeah.
It's the Revolution Radio Show, man. You can say it.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man, I still think he made some dope artists.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Saying and nobody can take away what Diddy did with Bad Boy.
112 alone.
Yeah, nobody. Yo, listen. Albie Shore. You know what I'm saying? Dope artist, dope producer, dope songwriter. You know the machine. He was the mind behind Jodeci. Most people don't even know that. You know, there's things that happened. I'll say, in the label ecosystem. It's different now. Yes, it's different now.
Yo, I hate to do this, man. This show has just come to an end. We're gonna have to have a part 2, 3, and 4, man. Man, brother, Thank you. So I'm mad right now. I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to light something on fire. Because you
literally like 45 seconds
very interesting information and all that.
You dropping jewels, man. But we appreciate you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. Go check out it's UGM Digital on Instagram, right?
Yes, sir.
UGM Digital on Instagram. On all socials, UGM Digital. Check it out. It's the Revolution Radio Show. As always, got to remind you, reach for your best, reach for success, but most of all, reach for God, because God is love and love is everything, man. We're going to see y'all, I don't know, whenever God let us. We have a beautiful weekend.
Stay safe this weekend, everybody.
Cool.
Oh, my.